And the cleanup continues throughout Bay St. Louis as well. Asha Staples spent the morning there.
And we're still in Bay St. Louis and still taking a look at the destruction that was left behind by Zeta. And, you know, a lot of people waking up just in shock, really, not knowing that this storm was going to do this much damage. But you can see right here, just tree limbs. There's some power lines that are out, some roofing missing from certain buildings, and luckily not too much structural damage. But this is one of the areas that we're seeing a lot of structural damage, and it's an historical place here in Bay St. Louis. We're actually going to speak with the owner of the property. Also, you live right behind the property, and the owner of the nonprofit from here, Miss Rachel. Tell me about this place and what it meant to you to be able to wake up and actually see the damage that was caused.
Well, as she said, I live in the back, and so I was listening to the wind come in, and water was gushing in the back doors. I didn't even understand what was going on. And then I saw this big piece of lumber, and I thought, where is that? And so I holed up in the living room, and my interior doors were rattling, like if there was wind coming in. I couldn't understand what was really going on. And it sounded like a freight train coming through. It sounded like it was picking it apart piece by piece. So it wasn't until it stopped that my neighbors, Daniel and Chase across the street, called me and said, your roof is off. And so we came out here with flashlights and we sort of assessed what had happened. I mean, it's just major devastation. And then when I came out here this morning, I mean, it's literally tore the roof off. It tore the gable off and back, tore the deck up. We just finished redoing this shed, which is like a musician's cottage, and trees came down around it, and it was tearing up the roof over here. So it's going to be a major undertaking. Let me tell you something. This building is no stranger to difficulties. Right. It was actually founded in the dark days of the Jim Crow laws, and it was organized by a group of civic-minded African Americans who came together to form a nonprofit. And it's actually a 501c3 nonprofit that they started in 1894. And it was owned and operated by folks in the African American community until 1982. And so it's a historical African American landmark. It's also one of the few standing buildings on the Blues Trail. We'll get through this because I tell you that, you know, I always say that the story of the 100-Man Hall is a story of resilience. And if you start and you look at how it was formed, you know, black people living in Jim Crow, and then after that, you know, this continuation of segregation, and then its survival through all of these harsh times.
And a day of picking up the pieces, as you mentioned, of course, resilience. Yes, you all will get through this. So, of course, we'll be hearing more stories about this throughout I'm sure, the next couple of days through the weekend as we continue to cover the aftermath of this storm. But reporting in Bay St. Louis, Asha Staples, Eyewitness News.